Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. I want to thank you so much for clicking on any of my videos. I really do appreciate your time. Well, I've got a finished project, a couple finished projects to share with you, and then some follow-ups on stuff I forgot to say in other videos. So welcome to the crazy brain of Amy. I've got so much like rambling around in there. There are some finished projects that I haven't even shared with you that I started the beginning of July, and here we are in the middle of August, and so squaring away all my thoughts is kind of a challenge for me sometimes. But one of the things that is big in my channel world is that my editing program left me. I had purchased an editing program to, do my videos. And then something happened with my computer and I had to do like a reset to it, and it lost the knowledge that I had already purchased this editing program. And it's not something like I saved a receipt for it or anything like that. Like, I don't know how to get my program back. And so I can still do some very, very basic things that you don't have to pay for, but that really changed the way that I was editing and creating my videos. So that was kind of one of the big like hurdles or headaches or issues that I was having when all of this, I need to kind of take a step back moment happened over the last couple of weeks, months, whatever. So that's one of the big things, is that my editing situation. And so I didn't want to buy a new editing program if, again, this isn't really making me a lot of money. I wanted it to support me retiring, and that's not at all going to be the case. So you're going to just, the quality of the videos or the way that my videos come out might be a little bit different, but I'm really hoping that that's going to be like a transparent and not even a discussable moment, Something else I forgot to tell you is that I frogged my Malabrigo sweater. So this is the goodies that, here, I've got it right here. I was going to insert a picture, but I guess that'll be my sweater, four skeins of Malabrigo worsted weight. And I've got kind of two shadings of it. You can see this one's a little bit brighter, than this grouping that's a little bit darker. So that was kind of one of the things that I was running into, is that this group looked like a stripe across the front, which was fine. I did that intentionally in the beginning, or when I made it, is used that lighter color across like a center section. But the whole sweater was just too heavy and too stretchy and stuff. So some of the little balls that I had made, and so when you've already sewn in all your ends, it kind of makes it hard to unravel something if you need to. So that's why I have some little pieces here and there that really, am I going to really be able to incorporate that? I don't know. Maybe there'll just be some seaming pieces or whatever. So that's something I have on the back burner still. I mean, it was on the back burner and now I frogged it, so it's on a medium burner now. I don't know. Okay, let me get my little checklist so I can remember I talked about everything. My edit program, my frogging my sweater. I have spent some time doing some caking of yarn. I was going to work on something, and so I caked up the yarn for it and then changed my mind on the yarn. So that's kind of a nice kind of mellow, as long as it's going smoothly. One of those things that you kind of do when you're not crocheting, but you still want to be in your yarny world. I just take some time to cake up some yarns that I think I'm going to use soon. I don't like to leave them in the cake form too long if I'm not going to use them right away. So if I have caked something, then I kind of switch gears and try to get that used up and make something out of it. One of the things that I forgot to tell you is that when we came home from our trip that we just took, we stayed through Tuesday, and then we came home. That was the initial length of time that we had planned our first trip in July. So when we shifted the dates, we didn't add any time to it, even though I had more time off work. We decided to just do some around the house or around town kind of things. So we did go to this miniature golf place, and I'll put in some pictures here. We had a lot of fun. They had, it's called Putt Putt, I think. putt-putt mini golf or something. And it's inside of the City Foundry. It's like a food court of all these different vendors, and then the miniature golf thing is inside the same big building. So it was a rainy day, so it was really great that we could go in and kind of walk around and try different foods. It's a fun outing. They've got a lot of adult type things in that area. There's an axe throwing thing somewhere close, I think. And we previously went to a mirror place. It was everything was like an optical illusion. It was kind of a cool place. I don't remember what it's called, but so the miniature golf, when you go inside, you can eat. Everything's kiosk. Like, they have people who help you if you have a question, but you don't pay a cashier for anything anymore. Everything's done through kiosks. It's very weird. Back in my day, no. So we went to the kiosk, and it says you can either buy one round of 9 holes, or you can do unlimited. And so we did the unlimited because we figured it's a rainy day, let's spend some time here, and they have food. So we ended up eating a nacho thing. They served the nachos in a pail, in like a bucket, and then lifted the bucket up, and it all came underneath. It's like, it was more for show. All the good stuff was buried. I didn't like it. It was not my thing, and it was like southwesterny, so the flavor combinations were just weird. I need to get myself a really good just nachos, because everything else, people try to do cuckoo nachos, and it throws me off. Anyway, so you go inside, and we signed up at the kiosk for unlimited, and it says, okay, go to the sapphire room first. So there's the amber, the emerald, the sapphire, and then ruby, I think, was the 4th one. And so we go to the sapphire room, and there's a marquee that says, Amy and John, you're up next, or in 10 minutes, or whatever order you're in. And the balls then dispense from this machine, and it recognizes there's an electronic device inside. So when you put it down, it basically is like, hi Amy, ready to golf, or whatever. And so when you golf, it counts how many swings you do. It doesn't, or how many times you hit the ball. There's no little card that you go hold a hole and fill out how many strikes it took you, or how many swings it took you to put the ball in the hole, or whatever. So that was very different for us. So they were all like different kind of games. It wasn't just a miniature golf. Like, one was a Connect 4. It told you, okay, you're the yellow token at this point, so try to hit it here, through these holes or whatever. And so I got a Connect 4. My husband did not. Ha ha ha. There were other types of moving pieces that you had to, like, it looked like a, what's it called, where the little disc floats on the air hockey. It kind of looked like that, with some moving pieces involved. Like, they were fun. It was a fun kind of dealio. So the 9th hole, it's kind of like at a regular golf course, miniature golf course, when you are trying to hit the grand prize or whatever. And so when you hit the ball into that, on that course, it takes the ball and says, thank you for playing, or whatever. So then for our unlimited, we could go to, I had to go to my phone app and like reboost the link. And then we showed up at the Emerald Station. We went over there and then played those 9 holes, etc. So one of the courses was down at the time for, they were fixing some things, or I don't know if they had a private group coming in to own that 9 holes for a certain length of time. I don't know. But so we just played on 2 of the holes. There's 4 of them, so we can go back at any time and play the other 2 as well. So that was a lot of fun. When you go on vacation and then you come home and do a staycation, it kind of extended the week. And so when I had to go back to work, it felt like I had been gone for a million years. And so we also took the opportunity to drive down to Caledonia. It's a nice little drive. It's not too long. I think it's just over an hour-ish. And there's cute little antique stores, and this main mercantile has handmade ice cream. I've talked about it before, so we went and had to get some of that. And then I also forgot to show you this. When hubby and I went to the antique store there in Mountain Grove, and I told you we got that ice cream, that espresso ice cream that was wicked bitter for me. I didn't like it at all. But they had some crochet stuff in there here and there. And so I took a picture of this one thing because it was so funny to me. A lot of us do have like some sort of a bag holder so that when we need like a grocery bag for our trash can or whatever, we pull it out of the back side or the bottom side of this. So here's this bag holder on this side. Oh, so then here's a little pic when we came back home. This is a plant that is out in front of our house, and it is mostly not there. And then when it is there, it sprouts up real fast, real sudden, real, out of the blue. And so here's a picture of it with just like one flower bloomed, and then the other blooms are going to happen soon or whatever. So then I think like the next day I took this picture, and you can see that they're all open up. And then like the next day it's done and dead, and it's so heavy it just falls over, and then that's it. So it's a very short-lived thing, but it's right out our front door, and it happens every year, maybe a couple of times through the summer. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was funny because it's there and then it's not. And then this also, we live out in the sticks, so we're going to see bugs all the time. And this praying mantis was gigantic, and he was so cute, so cool to see, like his head moving around. You don't realize like how much personality they might have. It's just a bug, but it was huge, so that was awesome. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to share with you before my crochet stuff is my son and his girlfriend have 2 children together, have bought a house together, and now they are finally engaged. Everything's great. So, yay, we're going to have probably next year, she's looking for a fall wedding, and so obviously we're about falls tomorrow, so so this will probably be next year sometime. Okay, so now let's get down to some nitty-gritties. So my first finished project that I'm going to share with you came from a day. I live in St. Louis, in case you don't know, and we are the home of Anheuser-Busch Budweiser beers, and we had a little parade, not really a parade, but the Clydesdales came and did one walk down a main street of a little town down here. And so I had the kids that day, and I took them down to see as well, but it's a convoluted story. But the other grandparents were there as well, so you'll see me in this random photo I was looking through some pictures to share with you from Facebook, and this guy had taken like 200 pictures. So I'm just kind of clicking through them, trying to get, good photos of the Clydesdales, the cute Dalmatian, things like that. And I found this random picture of myself in the crowd. So that was kind of funny. Not the best flattering picture, but I was there. It's proof I was there. But yeah, they were just amazing. The Clydesdales, they're huge. In case you are not familiar with a Clydesdale horse, they're so big and so beautiful and so magnificent. And this was the 150-year anniversary of Anheuser-Busch, so it was a big deal. I don't know if they went through some other towns and did this little parade, not a parade, but they just came down, and as they would walk down, they would stop and let people take pictures of them, of the horses and stuff. So it was kind of a procession, but it was just the one horse rig, the one horse and the carriage they're sitting in or whatever. So anyway, so while we were down there, the other grandparents have a friend who was there with a child who had this little doggy, and I'm so mad at myself. I took a picture of it. I took a little video of it to share. I took a video of it so that I could try to recreate it. And I found a pattern that was very, very similar. So instead of going through all the legwork to try to recreate it myself, I just did this pattern. So in doing that, I threw away, or I trashed the video, and I really wished I hadn't done that so I could show it to you, because it was really cute. And it's very, very similar. So the project, or the pattern that I found was, oh, it's right here. Duh. It's just called a no-sew dog, and it's by Nikki's Cute Crochet, Nikkiis, Nikki's Cute Crochet, and I love the way they turned out. So if you remember, I always have to go like back a little bit. If you remember, I made a plush. Let me go grab it. Okay, so I made this out of a pattern from my One Skein Wonder book, and it's supposed to be a 4-weight yarn, but I used this great big 6 fluffy yarn, this great big blanket yarn or whatever, and so it's elongated and it's not quite right. Like his head is not supposed to be this long. It's just kind of a funny outcome because the yarn is so big and not meant for this pattern, right? And I want to just say my granddaughter diapers this baby all the time. We've got some diapers that the kids grew out of that I still had laying around, and so I let her have those, and she diapers the baby all the time. So toss that to the side. So in making my first attempt, I did use that same yarn, which is the Hugs and Kisses, not Hugs and Kisses, Snugs and Kisses from Hobby Lobby, and it is big fat yarn. It is a 6-weight, and this colorway is called Teddy. Okay, so I used a 5mm hook and ended up with this little puppy. Look how cute. I love the way the ears kind of fold in on their own like that. I did embroider the nose, but then used plastic eyes. So his arms are just kind of floppy. I just sewed them on. I can't remember, you guys. This was done, yeah, this was done weeks ago. So I don't really remember all the specifics of it, but I'm waiting to show you something very specific. So cute little dog, his tail's over here. You can do plastic pieces all around, or you can do embroidery all around, obviously. But, you know, I'm always nervous about ears, but these ears turned out so cute. So anyway, so you make the body or whatever, and then at the end, you're supposed to crochet the tail into the end. And hubby's like, it looks like it's pooping. It's just too straight out of his butt. Like, it's not the way it should go. And so, and it's stuffed good. Like, I've stuffed it really good. The dog that we saw at the, out at that event, it was, floppier. Like, I stuffed the arms, and I don't think that those arms were stuffed because they were really, really loosey-goosey. Whereas I'm like, because I stuffed too much. I overly stuff. So this was the first one. He kind of looks like a little bit sad. His neck, it feels really long. Like, again, that elongated, like the body's not quite right or something. But it's cute enough. It would have passed. I'm like, I'd be done with that, right? No, I'm not done with that. I got to keep trying. I got to do it again. So this one, I went down to a 4.5mm hook and used this fuzzy yarn that I got from Linde Hobby. And did I make anything else with this? I've gotten a few things actually done with this yarn. I did the that was my elephant. I made the elephant with a gray version of this. But anyway, so it's about the doggy. So I wanted to make another one and try again with the tail specifically, so it didn't look like poop. And because it is smaller yarn, it is, I think it's a 4. I don't think on these older ones, on these different bands, it didn't say. I think we look at it like a 4. It suggests 4 to 6.5mm hooks, crochet hooks. So it could really be anything at that point. So anyway, it's either a 4 or 5. Anyway, so I made another one, and I did differently with his tail this time. I sewed it in on the top of his back, like his ears. And so the other thing I remember in making this one is that the ears, you make like decreases, and I wasn't doing them on the right place. I was just I wasn't reading the pattern very well, let's put it that way, on this guy. So his ears were a little bit different than what the pattern said because I wasn't quite paying attention. I do that, you know me, I do that, not pay attention. So I made another one with a different yarn, and he turned out a little bit smaller, and I put a plastic nose on him. I don't know if you can see that. Put that little plastic nose on him that came with some eyes that gives it a little nose effect. So again, with the ears, they kind of cover up his eyes a little bit. And I decided to put a collar on this one. Now this yarn was gifted to me, and so I'm not sure what its label is, but that's what it is. It's beautiful blue sparkly. And then I went ahead and finished the round of his bottom, and then sewed this on like up at the top more so that it didn't look like it was like poop shooting out. So it's a little bit more, I didn't put as much stuffing in the arms so that it would maybe go a little bit loosier goosier. And then the ears are supposed to have like more of a point, like, I don't know. I know I didn't read it, the pattern perfectly on the first one, so I tried to do it better on this one, and then that one kind of sits up goofy. But I like the little full plastic face because it feels like it matches a little bit when you do eyes that are plastic and then the nose is embroidered on. It kind of feels like I half and halved it. But I decided to put a collar on this one, like if you remember when I made a puppy for my grandson right when he was about being born, and I put a collar on that dog as well to help the neck a little bit. But super fun, super cute, super easy, very, very doable, very, very doable. So don't be afraid of your stitch markers. I use them very religiously sometimes, and I got no shame in that. So mark your stitch so you don't have to count twice, or you don't have to frog it out when you've messed up. Boom, there's my PSA for the day. All right, guys, I think I've rambled long enough, and I'm actually going to end the video here. The next thing I have to talk about is kind of a little bit lengthy, too, and I didn't want to make this too long. So thank you for sitting with me and watching my catch-up video. You know me and making two of everything because I like to use a different hook or a different yarn size or whatever. So this is both a different hook and a different yarn size, give you a really different size project. So don't be afraid to double up. You know, sometimes when I make one thing, I go, ooh, I could do this part different and it looks so much better. So I don't always set out to make a second item, but sometimes it just happens like that. So now that I have videoed these, I can give them to my grandkids, and hopefully they'll not fight. You know, they fight over everything. They both want one. So maybe if I can just start making two, then they can each have one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate it when you come to see me. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and I do hope you'll come back and see me again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.